Hello, everybody. I'm so happy that you're here tonight for another author-to-author conversation. Tonight, I am so excited to have Danielle Kean-Grassi with me to talk about her book, Grief is Only Suppressed Gratitude. And we just had a chat about it before we started recording, and I'm so excited that you are sharing this gift with the world. I think it's really important, and it's important that we connect to our spirits and know our self-worth and our joy. And so thank you for being here tonight to share about the book and just have this conversation.
Thank you so much, Candy. I'm so excited and so honored that we can come together and connect.
Yes, yes, yes. So tonight, before we get started, we're going to pull a card from the Mystical Wisdom Oracle deck. So you tell me when you feel like the moment is right, and I'll grab one off my lap here.
Okay. Right now.
Okay. Oh, I swear to God, every time memories, cherish memories of loved ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's so uncanny.
I know. It floors me every single time. Every single time I do this. So what the book says about that card specifically is when you lose someone dear to you, it leaves an everlasting void, and with it, you lose your personal sense of peace. You may be one of the many who believe your loved ones are still around and you want to strengthen your connection with them. You can do this as there is more going on behind the veil of God than meets the eye. You will experience visits in many different ways, a familiar smell, a nudge, or a white feather. This is just them saying hello. Everyone has a time to return home to heaven. Mantra, my loved ones are well cared for in heaven.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I think we were crying before we got to this, but like this 15-minute call might bring us into tears, really full on.
So why don't you just share a little bit about your book? Because there's no better lead-in than that.
So my book, Grief is Only Suppressed Gratitude, is my journey with my mom's passing. And she passed almost 4 years ago. And I was just trying to be like an adult, like actually just try to live in this world. And once she was diagnosed, she passed 81 days after diagnosis of stage 4 renal cell carcinoma, which is kidney cancer that metastasized, or liver cancer that metastasized all over the body. And once she found out she was sick, it all went downhill from there. So automatically switching the perspective to from a like just trying to get by at 25 and trying to just do my job well, like pay for rent, pay for groceries, to I have all the decisions for someone else's life. I need to understand how I'm going to pay for her 2 houses, how to manage renters, how to pay the car, and all the bills associated. I learned a lot about bills. I learned a lot about wishes. I learned about forgiving yourself if wishes don't come true. I think when she was sick, she still wanted to experience the world, and she wanted things that took time, and we didn't have that. I was there when she took her last breath, and I was there during moments that was very hard for me to watch. Little things like making sure like her eyes were moist, like those final days, making sure like she was comfortable, making sure that I had every dot, my I's were dotted, my T's were crossed in a way that had to be I had to separate myself from the logic, from the emotion. constantly, that right and left brain. And then getting through her death, after her passing, who am I? How can I how can I give love to myself and control my mindset into the aspect of this is, we can live another day. We can live another day through this aspect. I was telling Candy before this call that there was a lot of trauma that came up, not only from her death, but how other people's reactions were. I remember the crematory that picked her up mentioned to me, you need to step aside because we're going to put your mom in a bag. And the aspect of my mom being such a parent figure going into a bag, that was very scary.
That's, I can't imagine being 25 years old and trying to figure out what all this is and how it works, and then being thrown into that situation. I would imagine so like happy to be able to be there for your mother, because this is what we do when we're family, right? Like these are, okay, mom, I've got this. And also the incredible trauma that you experienced every day because of the whole situation. And then to just hear those words and to know that that's kind of on replay, is that itself is traumatizing. And at the same time recognizing that like the energy might be gone, right? Her spirit wasn't there, and like that vessel is no longer her. And so that's this is something that I talk with my clients about quite a bit, which is the separation of mind, body, and spirit, because we are not just like these vessels, right? Like that's part of our being. And it's like, this is our container that we have that helps us navigate this planet and gives us all of the joy and experience of every moment of this life on earth. But who we are inside is that divine spark and that divine essence that some people call it, the Holy Spirit or your soul, or, whatever. But to have to, at 25, navigate all of that, like my heart just, like I said earlier, when we were just getting on the call, like, I just want to reach through and give you a hug. I wish I could just give you a hug. So, after you went through this whole experience with your mom, how did that impact your experience with the rest of your family? And I'm just going to mute myself while this, because my dog is scratching in the background. So
sure. How did it affect myself and the other people around me? Everyone was different. I was looking for a mom figure. My mom and I were like Gilmore Girls, like we were extremely close. And so I didn't know how to fill that void. And I would just like annoyingly call like every like female that over the age of like 50 constantly over and over again about random things that happened in my day, because that was the only way I could cope. And even though it was annoying, I could not do that. Everyone reacted very differently. A lot of people are scared of death. They don't know how to talk about death. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book, because we need to actually talk about it in a way that can connect to other people so they don't think they're going crazy. I would have these like emotional breakdowns, and I call them emotional contractions. I've never delivered a baby, but if I had, I would think of that contraction process within the terms of my own emotional grief, being where I would randomly just break down and cry. Didn't matter where I was. And it would last for about 15 minutes and then I would be okay. And I think it was just the trauma trying some way to leave my body. It was the trauma I could actually handle and digest at that time leaving. And so that emotional process, like needing to cry it out, really helped. And then going deeper into that feeling. But some people were very sympathetic. Some people said the wrong things, and then I would need to forgive them for that. And it all happened very fast. And so there was no room for mistakes in a way. And if I made the wrong mistake, or if I did something that impacted the situation not as I desired, I had to like step aside emotionally and say, that's okay. Like, it's okay. You did all the right things. I think we put so much blame on ourselves, especially when a loved one passes, and think, oh, I could have done something different. But the soul has their own way and of entering this world and leaving this world. And however that happened is so divine.
Yes. And, and it's like we're here, we're trying to interpret that divine experience through these human bodies, right? Through this earthly experience that we're having. And one of the things that I say to myself and my clients as well is that you never have to apologize for how you chose to survive. And when you are in survival mode, it's impossible. It is absolutely impossible to dream. It's impossible to do everything perfectly. Like, it's impossible to do things perfectly to begin with. But I think we tend to hold ourselves to the standard that, we should have or could have or must have or did something wrong, like you were saying. And it's like, no, I did the best I could with the information I had in that moment. So it's
Absolutely. And living moment by moment and not thinking, oh, I need to do this in the future. Like, you just have that moment right then and there, and all that focus should only go within that moment, or else you're going to lose part of that moment.
right. Remaining present, right? It's so critically important. So how did you move, or if you could give tips to people on how to just move from grief to gratitude, or how to recognize your grief as suppressed gratitude, what might you share with people? A couple, like 3 tips.
I knew, well, the title of the book, Grief is Only Suppressed Gratitude, I knew I wanted my mom, even if it was only 25 years, I had her for those delicious 25 years. And I would rather have her for 25 years than not have her at all. And so that was the starting point of gratitude in a way. Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Even that alone, like, that is so beautiful to shift your perspective from what I thought I was going to have versus I'm present now and this is what I have or what I had. And I'm thankful in this moment for that. Like, that's huge. That's a huge mind shift.
And if that's all you're thankful for today, good job. Like, good job. Like, don't be thankful for anything else if you can't. Thank you. Oh gosh, there's so many. Knowing also that getting over grief is not really a destination. In my opinion, there's no way to get over grief. However, grief transforms. There's a bridge to that transformation where there is actually beauty and gifts on the other side. And trusting yourself and having that visceral knowing deep inside that there is a time where grief can be transformed into a beautiful thing. Just knowing that fact is enough. Just being aware of that is enough. I also feel my mom around me constantly. Going back to the card, they're always there. I feel my mom. I feel her viscerally. Sometimes someone will say something in the way that my mom said it, and I go, "Oh, there's my mom. There's my mom." I remember speaking to her. We knew she was going to pass, like a month. It's time. We had hospice coming in, and they're like, it's time. And she's still able to speak at that time. And she's like, you'll see me by like spinning dimes. And I've never seen a spinning dime, but I do see dimes, like the coin, our dime, the American, the system, the dime. And I see it in the moments where I'm having a good chat with a girlfriend. It's like that feminine energy, that beautiful feminine, like, brush your hair, cutesy, like, and then I'll look around and I see a dime. And it's that feminine connection is so powerful. And I think we always talk about the masculine, the do, but the feminine is just, or even more as powerful. The connection pieces and the way of receiving and being instead of doing is the magic. That's where I see my mom, where I'm my best, I see her, even in spirit.
That is really That's beautiful and incredible and powerful. And I think that that's that whole, the divine masculine and the feminine and the arising of the awareness of the divine feminine as a receiving energy too. I think that's really, it's just timely. It's timely for right now in this age that we're in. Just powerful story. If there are people who are listening today who have lost a loved one, which I know that there will be people who are tuning in and have had that experience with COVID this last year, especially, where can they find out more about you and your book?
Everywhere. It is on Amazon. Grief is Only Suppressed Gratitude. It is also on Goodreads, Google, Apple, and I believe that is Barnes and Noble. I believe that's it.
And do you have a website or somewhere where people can find out more about you?
Yes, www.keanstrategies.com, KEANSTRATEGIES. And there's a place where you can order the book right from the website.
Awesome. So Danielle and I are both represented by the same publishing house, which is the Unapologetic Voice Publishing House. And so my book is Finding Life in Between, and Danielle's book, Grief is Only Suppressed Gratitude, both representing women voices. And it's International Women's Day coming up on March 8th. And so if you have a moment to go to Amazon and give us both a little bit of support, that would be amazing. And in doing so, you're supporting a network of women, because we are all connected and we are all divine. So any parting thoughts before we sign off?
Speaking about like Women's Month and the female energy, bask in the being as much as possible. Bask in the being and receiving to make sure your cup is full. You can't give from an empty cup.
That is magic. And I just want to share one more time.
Yes.
Memories, cherish the memories of the loved ones. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
We'll talk soon.